Breaking news today, first truce in Gaza war to be initiated by Israel and Hamas. The besieged Gaza enclave has been devastated by a war that began on Friday morning and will end on Friday afternoon with the militants releasing a first group of 13 Israeli women and children who were held hostage. The truce will last 4 days. Qatari mediators have announced that a comprehensive ceasefire in North and South Gaza, as well as the release of some of the over 200 hostages held by Hamas during the Iran-backed Islamist attack inside Israel on October 7, are to commence at 7 a.m., 5 o'clock GMT. In the hours preceding the truce, however, fighting continued apace, with officials within the Hamas-ruled enclave claiming that a hospital in Gaza City was one of the targets bombed. The two sides also made it clear that the truce is only temporary. According to Majid al-Ansari, a spokesperson for Qatar's foreign ministry, the first hostages, who were mostly elderly women, would be released at 4 p.m., 14 o'clock GMT, on the first day, and the total number of hostages would rise to 50 over the course of 4 days. This announcement was made in Doha. Egypt has announced that once the ceasefire is in place, gas trucks and 130,000 liters of diesel will be sent to Gaza every day, while 200 aid trucks will enter the territory every day. The Qatari spokesman informed reporters that the release of Palestinians from Israeli prisons was anticipated. "We all hope that this truce will lead to a chance to start a wider work to achieve a permanent truce." On its Telegram channel, Hamas confirmed that its forces would end all hostilities. Conflict has escalated since the Gaza war broke out nearly 7 weeks ago, and Abu Ubaida, a spokesman for Hamas' armed wing, later used a video message to refer to this temporary truce, while urging an escalation of the confrontation with Israel on all resistance fronts, including the Israeli-occupied West Bank. Without specifying their location, the Israeli military announced that their forces would remain inside Gaza, behind a ceasefire line. "These will be complicated days and nothing is certain," stated Daniel Hagari, a spokesperson for the Israeli military. "Control over northern Gaza is the first step of a long war, and we are preparing for the next stages," according to him. The Prime Minister's office announced that Israel had received the first list of hostages to be released and was in communication with their families. According to Israeli estimates, 240 hostages were taken hostage and 1,200 were killed when gunmen from Hamas stormed the border fence on October 7. Following this, Israel launched its devastating invasion of Gaza. Palestinian health officials report that since then, Israel has bombed the small enclave, killing around 14,000 people, about 40% of them children. "People are exhausted and are losing hope in humanity," UN Palestinian Refugee Agency UNRWA Commissioner General Philippe Lazzarini said on Thursday following a visit to Gaza, referring to the unspeakable suffering in the enclave. "They are deserving of a break. They shouldn't have to worry about staying alive all night long. This is the absolute minimum that everyone ought to have access to." Israeli warplanes hit over 300 targets and troops engaged in heavy fighting near the Jabalia refugee camp north of Gaza City on Thursday, the day before the ceasefire, maintaining an even higher than usual level of violence. The operations will go on until the troops get the order to cease, according to an army spokesperson. Health officials in Gaza City reported that the Indonesian hospital was overwhelmed with patients, including children and elderly people who were bedridden, and that the constant bombing had rendered the facility dark and unusable. The situation of hospitals has drawn international attention, particularly in the northern part of Gaza, where all hospitals have shut down and displaced people, along with their medical personnel and patients, are trapped inside. Hamas rejects Israel's claim that its militants hide out in civilian structures like hospitals and homes.